upends your sense of personal identity.
Yeah, totally. And I'm not even in this community, but I completely identify with that feeling. And I think everybody would be a liar if they did not identify with that feeling, at least at some point in their life. And I mean, the goal is for us all to be better people and to love ourselves. And then by loving ourselves, we can love only harder and stronger the people around us. Mm-hmm. So, okay, if someone is listening right now and they're listening to this episode and they're like, oh my gosh, I identify with Abby and I identify with her, where would you send people? I mean, I know you sent me a list of some domain names and websites for people to go to, which will be listed on the website in the show notes. But do you have any advice? Do you have any resources? Anything that could be helpful to somebody that might be struggling like you were?
Yeah, absolutely. There's one website that'll most likely be listed in the show notes, genderdysphoria.fyi. So it talks a lot about the experience of trans people and that sort of balance between gender dysphoria, the sense that something's wrong about your gender, and gender euphoria, which is, what you feel inside when you are doing or acting the ways that, matches your internal sense of identity. That's something I'd highly recommend checking out. A lot of people who are struggling with their gender sometimes don't feel like they're in enough pain to make any change, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, you're so used to living life a certain way and you tune out or don't realize how much discomfort you actually have over certain things. And understanding the dysphoria that you feel is really helpful in, I don't know, giving you a direction, I guess. So that's one resource. I also highly recommend the book, Yes, You Are Trans Enough by Mia Violet. She had a little bit of a different story from me because she understood that she was trans as a pretty young age, but it was really helpful to read, the experiences of another trans person and see myself reflected in her story. And then I think the last thing I'll note is absolutely check out, YouTube, check out the trans subreddits on Reddit. Look for actual trans people talking about their experience. And I should also add, a little careful perhaps when looking at how other people talk about trans people. Go to the source, talk to the actual people involved, get their direct viewpoints rather than having your understanding of what being trans means or how it affects their lives, like filtered through other people's secondary opinions.
Yeah, the telephone game.
Exactly. So I don't know. Those are some good resources. I highly, highly recommend doing some therapy, talking to a LGBT positive therapist, it out, figuring it out for yourself. It's your own sense of identity is hugely important. And there's a lot of joy in figuring out where you fit. So that's absolutely something that I've discovered. I just feel like I have a much better sense of who I am and what I want out of life through this entire process. And the world feels wider. There's so much more to it now than there used to be.
Well, of course, I warned you guys. Well, I am just so proud of you, and I'm proud to be part of your life, no matter how large or small. I don't mean your life being large or small, but the part of your life. And do you have, because I'm going to probably grab tissues and start continuing to cry, but do you have anything else that you want to close with or anything before we sign off here?
I suppose the last thing I'll mention is, I meant to say this earlier, but my wife has been amazing about this entire process. Like I came out to her and I'm sure I blindsided her in all honesty. But she's just been amazingly supportive and willing to let me, experiment and do the things I needed to do to get a better sense of who I was. I think, we did kind of rush through things a little bit early on. I don't know. I had this silly chart that I came up with.
I know you brought it in and it's printed out here. And I'm like, this is one of the reasons I love it.
It's like, it covers the first year after I figured out I was trans and like when I was going to do certain things and when I was going to do therapy and hair removal and connect with my local trans group. And like, I was very structured and ordered about it.
And getting your ears pierced on there. I mean, you went down to the like the minutia of it and how but I understand it because you said something to me a while back about how you were jealous looking at women or young ladies as you were going through this because you were like, oh, I love those earrings.
Basically, I really struggled with this sense of, am I attracted to this person or do I simply want to be
that person? Wow. Yeah. God, that's insane. And also quite amazing. Like I said, I'm so happy that you've been here with us today. And I hope that if anybody is listening, if you have any questions or concerns or what have you, please go to the website and access the episode. And the show notes are there. And it will give you basically a transcript of this entire episode, as well as all of the resources that Abby has provided to me, as well as the ones that she has mentioned here on this show today. So, and yes, I will throw a shout out to Amanda as well.
she's been awesome and supported me every step of the way.
Yeah.
And, she's had her own journey too of figuring things out and discovering over time that she was actually bi. It's been
oh
a
my
process
gosh, I just got the chills. I knew I need another episode. Well, I'll talk to her. Wow, that's so interesting. See, you just blindsided with me, Abby. Well, thank you for being here. I know I don't want to say, wow, this was so courageous and brave of you, but I do. I think that it is when you open your mouth and you start talking about things that are so personal to you. And that's what this show is about for me every episode. And I respect every single guest that will be on this show. And you're obviously, one of my most sweetest, most amazing people in my life. So thanks for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
You are exclusively invited to share this VIP pain journey together. Let's get to the heart of how to heal with you by my side. Please follow the Pain Game podcast wherever you digest your podcast content. We'll be there. Visit us at thepaingamepodcast.com and follow us on all the socials. Thanks for listening, my little VIPs. Catch you on the other side.